We want them to show us the shop where Kenyans can buy unga at 87. Otherwise, we call for an unga revolution. We must be told. Bloody hell. We must be told, because of the sins they have committed on earth, they are certainly going to hell. They are not going to heaven. You are bringing characters who have not even run a kiosk, and you're calling them consultants. Consultants for what? Some of the characters have not been managers of anything, not even a bakery. You are calling them consultants. They are coming to consult on what? If the economy is doing well, Jed, you'll feel it. In fact, even right now, you'll be telling me, Masa, man, Masa.
Yes, sir.
Masa.
It's Friday.
Because it's Friday.
Yeah.
But you are not in a hurry. Jed.
Yeah?
You're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
Because people are in pain. Stop there. Stop. Stop, Jed. Stop. You're hurting Kenyans.
I haven't finished.
When you read that statement, you're hurting Kenyans.
I haven't even asked the question.
Jed, you're hurting Kenyans.
Maybe answer me.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house. This is not for going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.
A very good day to you and welcome to Philip Kisia Unscripted. My name is Jadiel Kabiro. I'm so glad that you've joined us for a political conversation. A conversation all about truthfulness, letting the government know what is happening, telling Kenyans what is happening. I'm with Philip Kisia. He's a leadership and governance expert, former Nairobi Town Clerk, ex-KICC CEO. We're talking about the economy and politics, state of the nation, what is happening. Great to see you, Philip. It's been quite some time now, I think a week or two. We haven't had a conversation. How are you doing?
Jed, I'm okay. A bit low.
Oh.
Very saddened by what is going on in this country. But you know, last weekend we buried Mzee Marende, Eliud Marende, the father to Speaker Emeritus Ken Marende. It was a sad moment, but the old man had lived for 94 years, so it was a celebration, so to speak. And again, in the last 2 weeks, we lost our friend Suleiman Murunga. So may the Almighty God rest their souls in eternal peace. Murunga is, of course, being buried on this Saturday, tomorrow. And of course now, the Kenya Kwisha government. When we think we're about to settle, when we think, and you know, I took a moment of reflection in the last 2 weeks, and I was asking myself, you know, I'm a Kenyan. And during the last 2 weeks, I happened to bump into the Kenya Kwisha apologists and operatives, who happen to be my friends. I'll not mention their names. But they are telling me that you are so hard on government. You are too hard on government. You are too hard on the boss. Where is the problem? So I had to take a moment and reflect to try and discover whether there's anything good that this government is doing that I'm not seeing, that Kenyans are not seeing. Are we just being too hard on President William Ruto Samoei? Are we just being too hard? Are we just being too negative? But let me say this, Jed. In my moment of reflection, I remembered my late mother, and may the Almighty keep on resting her soul in eternal peace, Mama Grace. She taught me a number of things that have been very useful in life. She taught me, most important thing is to respect the crown. Meaning, you must respect the government of the day. You must have integrity. You must always be a servant leader when you are given opportunity to provide leadership. You must be respectful to other people. You must be hardworking. You must be resilient. You should never give up. And you must trust in God. Those are some of the values that my late mother engraved in me, and which I hold dear up to now. And I try and pass these values to my children and my siblings. But in the same breath, she also told me, son, you must learn to fight for justice and what is right. You must learn to fight for the poor who cannot defend themselves. You must learn to fight for the widows. You must learn just to fight for your country. You must learn to fight for the oppressed. You must love your country because you have no other country. Country is like family. Then, of course, I remembered somebody, again, I value very much in my life, the late Sir Anthony Hopkins. He had a philosophy which stated this way, that what people say about me is none of my business. It doesn't bother me. Okay? I am whom I am and do what I do. And I add, so Philip, now I'm paraphrasing, so I say, so help me God. So I am who I am and I do what I believe is right. And whether it is bothering you, so long as my conscience is clear, so be it, and help me God.
You say
Okay?
that, Kisia, and I'm just thinking, do you feel safe when you come to these conversations and
You see,
people are out there telling you you're bashing government?
it doesn't matter.
And
And
we look
that's
at
what I'm saying.
abductions.
I don't care. It doesn't bother me what you think about me. So long as my conscience is clear, so long as I know I'm doing the right thing, okay? That is what matters to me. You know, because again, Sir Hopkins talked about people packaging, getting engraved and getting consumed in a culture that despises content. People don't want to be truthful. People want to live in lies. People want to sugarcoat. And that is the problem the society Kenya is facing. That we are told lies from morning to evening by Ruto. He replaces competence with incompetence. He replaces hard work with stealing. He replaces anything good with all the bad things. He talks about people being tribalists or tribalism when he's a tribalist number one. So this is a man who is double speaking. And for me, as Philip Kisia, based on the values that my mother left me with, I have never learned to sugarcoat. So for those people who are worried, for those people who are concerned that I speak my mind, I'll continue speaking my mind because that is the truth. And the truth remains the truth. It doesn't matter what you do to it. You cannot change truth to lies. Neither can you change lies to truth. You can lie once, you can lie twice, but people will surely get hold of you. Okay. Let me just give you very quick examples, Jed. And today, be patient with me. Give me 90 minutes.
Okay.
Because I've been reflecting, Jed.
Yeah.
I gave you a holiday.
Yeah.
And you also gave me a holiday to reflect.
Yes.
When I talk about Ruto being a liar, is a fact. President Ruto talked about free bundles. Do you have them? You answer yes or no.
No.
President Ruto talked about lowering the cost of electricity. Has it lowered the cost of electricity?
Not yet.
Answer yes or no. Jed, answer yes or no.
You continue.
He talked about reducing borrowing, that President Kenyatta had borrowed in 10 years to a tune of 7 trillion. He has borrowed 3 trillion in a tune of 2 years. He talked about reducing borrowing. Was he lying? Yes or no? Don't be shy. They'll take you nowhere. He talked about reducing taxes. Nitapunguza tax, mutaona tax ikienda chini. Has he reduced taxes? Has he reduced them?
No, not on taxes.
Kenyans are feeling pain. You are feeling pain. Everybody's feeling pain. He has not reduced the taxes. He talked about, just the other day, that now you don't need to go to Dubai, you'll be buying vehicles in Naivasha. Has that happened?
No.
It was to happen in April. Has it happened?
Not yet.
Maybe it was April Fool's month. He talked about lowering the cost of gas. Has that happened? It has not happened. He talked about, evicting people from Nairobi, where I live, where I was born, in a humane manner. Have the evictions been done in a humane manner? They are worse. This is the worst that this city has ever seen. The evictions have ended up with children, Jed, losing their lives. Children. Is that a human being? Is that a human being who is overseeing the death of our children in that manner through evictions? Children have died. And there are records. Some even who are rushing into, their shanties to salvage whatever they have. So maybe one's for free and so on and so forth. They were killed in those shanties. President Ruto talked about reducing the cost of unga. Immediately the Bible went down. Now I see some fellow saying now people can afford unga. The unga price is 140. We want them to show us the shop where Kenyans can buy unga at 87. Otherwise we call for an unga revolution. We must be told. Bloody hell. We must be told where unga is costing 89 bob. We know unga is retailing at about 140 bob. These are thieves, murderers. We want to be told where petrol, and President Ruto made that commitment, that petrol will drop to 100 bob. Petrol is retailing at 180 bob up to today. He must show us where Kenyans will buy petrol at 100 bob per litre. When people say I have a problem with President Ruto, it is true. But he's my friend. But I have a problem with him. He promised to stop extrajudicial killings. Children are dying. Just this year, close to 70 children have died because we are agitating for their rights, which is guaranteed under Bill of Rights. I think it's chapter 4 of our Constitution. It's their right to picket. It's their right. It's not a privilege. You go shooting our children, murdering our children. Are we dealing with human beings? They talked about fighting corruption. In their own admission, they have admitted that corruption now we are losing 3 billion per day as opposed to 2 billion during Kenyatta's time. Is that progress we made? Tribalism, we can't even talk about it. So, Jed, I have been in a moment of reflection. And today, in fact, the last 2 days, the situation has been made worse. I came here, I wasn't in this spirit when I came here. But when I started getting Kenyans asking me, what the hell is going on with this Kenya Kwisha government? Isaac Mwaura, who the other day was jobless, looking for a job. Now, he's saying that Kenyans have big stomachs. Do you have a big stomach? Do you? I can even say you're starving.
Yeah.
This boy who had no job the other day is now saying Kenyans have big stomachs because they can afford unga at 89 bob. If I was President Ruto, this man would be sacked by today. Kenyans don't have big stomachs. The people who have big stomachs and big pockets full of stolen public funds are people in this government. They are the ones who have big stomachs. They are the ones who have progressed from the west upward. Kenyans have no progress. Kenyans are suffering. Then there's this other one calling himself advisor, don't advise, economic advisor. The fellow is about to bust. This D fellow is about to bust. And he's saying, do you know what he's telling Kenyans? That the companies that are closing, the people who are affected are privileged, the few privileged. Shenzi type, the people who are being who are losing their jobs are Kenyans. They are not privileged. When you have a job, you are not privileged, particularly when you are earning hard-earned money. You are not privileged. You sweat. Those buggers in this government, they don't sweat. They earn money for doing no job. We've not seen the job they're doing. They are the ones who are privileged to serve and growing fat in their tummies, as if there is I don't know what in those tummies. Then they are saying that Kenyans are privileged. These are Kenyans, Jed, who have lost jobs, who have lost income. They are the people who are employing hustlers. They are the people who are buying boga, tomatoes, onions from hustlers. They are now jobless. How will the hustler survive? How will the hustler survive? That was my first highlight, and it made me very angry. These guys are demonic. Jed, they're demonic. I want you to look for this video as I cool down for a minute. The Catholic statement. Look for that video, Jed.
Welcome to Herencia, the heartland of good living, where you belong. A community with endless possibilities. Your path to discovering a master-planned gated community that matches your ambitions. Get yourself this must-have piece of paradise with state-of-the-art amenities, constant water supply, good security, tarmac roads, and much more. The best part, availability of buy and build financing services. Don't wait. Contact us today or visit our offices for more info. Buy and build your way at Herencia, the heartland of good living.
The massive greed we are witnessing is shocking and heartbreaking. The violation of human rights and freedom of speech. We are appalled by the blatant recurring incidents of reported abductions, disappearances, torture, and killings of Kenyans. We also decry the increasing murder of women. This has caused great consternation, anger, and disgust. Many families are still grappling with the loss of their children who are brutally killed, injured, or went missing following what is referred to as the Gen Z demonstrations in June 2024. Many of these victims had raised concerns about rampant corruption within and outside the government.
It's Catholic bishops there, Anthony Muheria, they're condemning government, says this regime needs to relook at how they're functioning. Kisia, this has been the conversation. Some are asking, have they just met their Damascus moment, or are they being sidelined for them to make this statement? What do you make of it?
You know, you put it so well, Jed. Damascus moment for them. Maybe. Could be. Because these are the same fellows who are praying for Ruto to get into office. Had they not tried to find out the person that they were praying for to get into office? He has hardly been in the office 2 years, and they are feeling the heat. So, they are right, and the bishops are right, to say that the culture of lies, promoting lies and lack of integrity is what we can see in this government. Okay? So they are right. They are also right to say that this government has no respect for Kenyans because each and every day they lie and they don't care about lying. So they have no respect for Kenyans because they think that Kenyans are foolish, Kenyans have no intellect, they are just useless people. That's what they think. And they must be called. They also think that, and therefore, this is a government that is completely in lack of, and the what we call truth deficit. They're in deficit, heavy deficit. Okay? But worst of all, Jed, now the bishops themselves, they have confirmed that there are extrajudicial killings. They have opened their eyes. They were asleep. They have also confirmed there is corruption in this government. They have also confirmed that these people who pretend to be high priests have overseen, now forget about children being killed, they are now killing our women. Our women have just been killed. We must be told who is killing our children, because without women, you know what will happen without women if you don't have women?
Yeah.
What happens to...
We don't have
happens?
children, we don't have a society.
We don't have anything. Is it that it's intentional so that we can reduce... Why are they targeting children, the future, and women who give that future? Because without women, we have no future. So how come there's a target against our youth and women? So that men are left alone? Do they want to have a gay society? Do they want Kenya to be turned into a gay society? Because we cannot procreate. Can we? We cannot. So, we are dealing with people who need to be stopped. And we are not going to validate their actions. We must find a way of stopping them. In fact, you remember I went to visit Uncle Moody, and Uncle Moody is in shock at his age, telling me, Philip, what is going on? Why are people not angry? Things are not going on well in this country. So there are even these old people who have been there are in shock with what is happening in this country. So I'm happy that these people have woken up, the clergy have woken up, but they should stop issuing statements. They should move from the pulpit. They must honor Gitari. They must honor the late Munge. They must honor Njoya. They must honor the late Ndingi Mwana Wanzeki. They must honor these people by joining other Kenyans on the streets. It should not end by issuing statements and issuing other statements, press and on the pulpit complaining. They must join us in sending this government home earlier than anticipated. The last highlight, Jed, I'd ask for patience. Look for that video where this, again, the clergy is talking about demonic wisdom.
James talks about demonic wisdom. Demonic wisdom is there. This is unscriptural. It harbors a lot of bitterness, envy, selfish ambition. We have seen this demonic wisdom with many of our politicians, who all they want is to have everything for themselves. They don't care. You saw this demonic wisdom do work the other day. The moment our Gen Zs went out to say there is wrong governance, the demonic people in this country sponsored goons. That is what we call demonic wisdom. Because in sociology, and go and study, they say, if you want something not to be accepted by the people, all you need to do is to make it evil.
What does this video tell us about the current state of the Kenya Kwanza government?
He has said many things that you've heard, but what comes out is saying that they are demons. These are demonic. It's demonic wisdom. And when you have demonic wisdom, you cannot serve the people of God. Kenya is a God-fearing country. We cannot have people in leadership who are demons. But he has also given us hope. He has said that these fellows are certainly going to hell. They are going to burn in hell because of the sins they have committed on earth. They are certainly going to hell. They are not going to heaven. They will not go to heaven. They are not seeing heaven. These characters, all of them, they are bound straight. They will be burning in hell when you and me will be drinking milk and honey.
Well, what a start. We're only just beginning. Our conversation today is all about the economy, state of the nation, what is happening. It's the economy stupid, as James Carville once put when he was campaigning for one Bill Clinton. We want to see what measures the president is doing in building the economy. The U.S. ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, resigned immediately after Donald Trump took office. Kenyans were up in arms asking Donald Trump, the now president-elect of United States, to kick her out of this country. We'll also talk about why the government is missing in terms of communicating what it's doing. Meanwhile, Kiaru Member of Parliament, Jadiel Kabiro, says when it comes to the economy, tangible economical measures should be felt by the people. We're going to have this conversation today with Philip Kisia. Philip Kisia is unscripted. Philip, look, the State House comes and says we are going to hire top consultants to help us deal with the economy, raging issues from the climate to the environment. These are the consultants that will help us moving forward. But then we remember President Ruto after the Gen Z protest saying he's going to cut costs, cut the advices in government. And now we look at these consultants. How effective will these consultations be for the country, and what measures should be put in place when it comes to looking at accountability and sustainability of these consultants?
Well, Jed, I think you've mentioned two things,
in one question.
consultants and the issue of Ambassador Meg. But let us first of all put them in context. You know, a country is driven by a vision, a shared vision. In our case, we have Vision 2030 that Emeritus Mwai Kibaki left us with. He ran with it for about 10 years. When Muigai Kenyatta took over, he did his 10 years. Then the man from Sugoi, Arap Samoei, has come, and he seems to be struggling to introduce his own vision. That is not how a country is run. A country is run by a shared vision. It is our vision. So what he should have done, because he had a manifesto, the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, it is our assumption that his intention, his promises, were premised on Vision 2030. No other document, because we did not authorize him to come up with his own vision. So that promise, through his manifesto, he should have told us how he is going to quickly actualize our vision and get us back to track, because we are behind what we set to achieve by 2030. The other day I saw, and with a lot of respect, this man who was at ICT, CS, he has now been made the deputy chief of staff in charge of performance contracting.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, what I'm just seeing are photo ops everywhere. He is rushing here, one ministry, they take a photo. That is not what we expect of a man who has been given a very heavy docket like that one, performance contracting management. I saw them now, coalescing in State House, where we are told they signed performance contracts. During our time, that event was done, it was a public event, done at KICC. You come, your documents are shared by the public, you're shared, they're put in broad daylight, and the PS and the minister jointly sign the contract. Okay? So this new regime, they are just using this performance contract to try and appear as if they understand what they are supposed to be doing. But I can tell you from what I can see, they are completely lost. They don't even believe in the culture of performance contracting. Right from the top up to the cabinet. None of them believes in performance contracting and management. So I don't know how we'll be able to actualize what is in Vision 2030, leave alone what they have spelled out in the manifesto. Because, they talk about this better thing, better. But for me, it's not better. Better is supposed to be bottom up. For me, it's top up. You can only see the people in government growing from the top up to the west. They have grown. They have transformed. There is a remarkable change in these characters who are in government. Because we know how they were living. We know how they are living. Some of them were broke. They were living places I don't know even to mention. But all of a sudden, all of them are now in Karen. Some of them even are attempting to come to Lavington. All of them are in Karen, all of them. So if you talk about transformation, yes, they have transformed.
Yeah.
The characters in government has transformed, and I say from the head to the waist, ending at the pockets. But the poor Kenyans are still in pain. They are languishing in poverty. Nothing has happened. Things have gotten from bad to worse. So that is top up management model, not bottom up. Bottom up is finished. So now,
about the consultants.
Now let us talk about the consultants, Jed. I told give me 90 minutes, Jed.
Yeah.
90 minutes.
Okay.
It's a full match.
Yeah.
I don't know, you're bringing this 6 aside or something. 30 minutes, 30 minutes. No,
Hakuna pressure.
It's 90 minutes.
Hakuna pressure.
Jed, man, it's 90. Man.
Hakuna pressure.
90,
Let's
90
continue.
minutes.
Yeah.
These so-called consultants. Kenya has been there for 6 decades. He is the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. Mwai Kibaki, who is a manager, top manager, like some of us, top manager. He never worked with an array of consultants. Consultant this, consultant that. Communication is about, 20 consultants. Now again, everybody who does not have a job is employed by William Ruto as a consultant. Some of them have never been a consultant of anything, not even a consultant of setting up a kiosk, but they're now consultants of a huge corporation called Kenya. What a joke, Jed, what a joke. Their government, successive governments have run with public servant civil service that is well-grounded, well-experienced, well-trained. You don't need more consultants. Further, consultants are there for short term. They consult and they disappear. These consultants who are there permanently, I don't know what they're consulting about. They are only there to earn a salary. The consultants we should have are sufficient in the name of public and civil service. Those are adequate and they can do the job if given the leeway, if given the room to perform. They performed under the previous administrations, they can perform even better now. But we have somebody at the top who does not believe in performance management, who believes in short-term gains, who does not have a strategy. He does not believe in strategic management. That's the problem. So I don't know where these consultants are coming from. I don't know from which country. I don't know, maybe they're coming from hell, because it looks like all things that that Kenya Kwanza government works with comes from hell. Because they cannot come from heaven. Heaven, the only good things come from heaven. So I don't expect to see any improvement. He should just tell us that he wants to get into government, some other characters called consultants to earn a salary or to help in stealing. That is it. There's no other thing. Why do you need consultants and your public service? Properly trained, with experience. You are bringing characters who have not even run a kiosk, and you're calling them consultants. Consultants for what? Some of the characters have not been managers of anything, not even a bakery. You are calling them consultants. They are coming to consult on what?
So
they are coming to consult on stealing.
Should we even talk about accountability?
These are not consultants. These are just people who are of no use to us, who are just going to raid our coffers and end up frustrating civil servants. And in any case, Jed, when you are called a consultant, you should never be the face of policy. You understand, Jed? A consultant works in the back office. Yeah? They should be working, because we are assuming that these are people who have certain training, certain experiences that they can share with our civil service, but I doubt if they had, they will be sharing back office, advising and adding value. But the consultants in the Kenya Kwanza government are the face of value, the face of policy. They come and start issuing statements. When does a consultant speak on behalf of government? Where does it happen? It only happens in the Kenya Kwisha arrangement, where they don't understand management. They have no clue of what management is all about. So please, with a lot of respect and humility, these are characters who President Ruto wants to sneak into government using the back door. Some of his friends, calling them consultants. Bure kabisa, useless. Let's talk about now Ambassador Meg. Ambassador Meg, of course, now that she's a Republican, as you may know, but she was appointed by President Biden's administration. And according to what Kenyans are saying, because I've been following social media, I have not interacted with Meg Whitman. But from what people are saying, they are saying that she supported very bad policies of Kenya Kwanza. And they're bad policies because what we have seen in the last 2 years is a disaster, okay, of unimagined proportions, okay? People are saying that from her actions, it looks like she really hates Kenyans or Africans. From her action, the way, I've not met her. People will also not forgive Meg Whitman for supporting a dictator. That's what people are saying. People are saying that the Kenya Kwanza policies are not favorable even to business. That's why businesses are shutting down. This is the first ambassador, Jed. We had ambassadors before who has been pro-government and completely put a blind eye to the sufferings of Kenyans. We had brilliant ambassadors before. We've never seen what we saw. Where the ambassador, or American ambassador, Lavi-Davi, with the head of, Lavi-Davi, with the head of state. Come on! Come on, man. What nonsense is this, man? She was here to do a job. Americans believe in democracy, the rule of law, justice. That is what she should have come to promote. And of course, business. But what was she promoting? I'm sorry to say that her performance has been wanting. And that is why probably the Kenyan people in millions have sent petitions to the President-elect Trump asking him to recall. But I think before the letter of recall came, she did, and I must respect her for that.
Yeah.
I must respect Meg for doing what she has done. She did not wait to be sacked the way Africans wait to be sacked, especially Kenyans. You sit until the last minute, you are sacked, you are pushed out of the office by force. So she did the right thing. I wish her well in her future endeavors. She's a multi-billionaire. She'll not lack anything to do. And I hope Kenyans will forgive her and allow her to settle in Kenya like all other expatriates and ambassadors have done. The ambassadors who have ended up retiring in Kenya. Some of them even have married our women. Our women.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe if she's looking for a partner, there are many she will find in this republic of ours.
Well, what would you advise the next ambassador or ambassadors now in Kenya looking at our democracy and our political space when it comes to talking and mingling with our political leaders?
Well, number one, they should not support anything that is unjust to the people who are hosting him or her as an ambassador. They must make sure they put the government to account. The government of the day must be put to account by the ambassadors. Okay? They, of course, must promote trade between the two countries, between the two nations.
Yeah.
That is what an ambassador is supposed to do. Take care of the interests, but knowing very well that the interests will be better taken care of if they also take care of our interests. So the relationship should be mutual. It should never be one-sided, because if one-sided is not long-term. People start asking many questions, and that relationship cannot thrive.
Okay.
So the ambassadors who are here, they must know why they're here. They are not here to get into bed with the regime, even when the regime is doing the wrong thing. That we should not allow. Going forward, we shall not allow.
Shall not.
We shall not allow.
Let's talk about.
Tutafukuza hao.
Let's talk about Ndindi Nyoro, who's the National Assembly Budget Committee chair. He comes and says, look, you're talking about reduced inflation, the economy doing well, you're talking about this and that about the economy, but where's the place of the people? Talk to me, Kisia, about his reflections about what is happening in the country and the place of people when it comes to reports of inflation, Kisia.
You see, Jed, I think Ndindi Nyoro, I've always had a soft spot for Ndindi Nyoro. He is a brilliant young man and is going to go far if he remains objective. He should not look at short term, that he wants to be cabinet, he wants to be this, and then chairman of budget. That will come. Time is still on his side. He just needs to be on the side of the people. And I fully concur and agree with what Ndindi has said. Ndindi Nyoro has said, and I think he is a good student of Kibaki. I know when Kibaki was president, you were still a toddler.
I was around.
Yeah, but
let's continue.
It's not bad to be a toddler. I was also a toddler.
Let's continue. Ndindi Nyoro.
So Ndindi Nyoro has said, by the way, if you remember, Kibaki never used to talk in the marketplaces and I don't know what, in funerals, going to funerals, hopping from a funeral to another marketplace, talking. No. Kibaki was a state house and Harambee House. And he allowed institutions to work based on performance contracting models. You have your job, I've given you a job, I've enabled you, I've given you all the resources to do the job. Do the job and report back to me. I'll mark your exam. So Ndindi has said something that is very profound. Ndindi has said that, wait a minute, I don't need to go to marketplaces and in funerals to struggle, because these Kenya Kwanza fellows are struggling to explain themselves. If the economy is doing well, Jed, you'll feel it. In fact, even right now, you'll be telling me, Masa, man, Masa,
It's Friday.
because it's Friday.
Yeah.
But you are not in a hurry. Jed. You're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
Because people are in pain. And Ndindi is right. You don't have to talk. You don't have to explain yourself. Because things are working. Let me tell you, Jed. This economy is down on its knees. You can't access credit. Mama Boa cannot access credit. Apart from this little Fuliza thing he's talking about, that you can't go to a bank and access credit. Small and medium-sized enterprises, they can't access credit. And the few who are able to access credit, Jed, it is at 28%. That's what they are not telling us. That yes, there's some little money left with the banking system for you and the private sector, but at 28%. Why? Because government is borrowing at 18%. You can imagine government competing with you, small and medium-sized enterprises and private sector, for that cash, because they're paying 18%. Okay? And because this money, and they know because there's no sweat. The banks are just sitting there, the MDs are sitting there, James Wange and the rest are just sitting there. They're earning big profits. They would rather do business with government, where there's no sweat. Here's money in 6 months' time. Let me use the phrase of William. In 6 months' time, they earn 18%.
Yeah.
Do you think the banks will even bother lending you money, Jed? Okay? Where you are likely to default? You start running away and, close your business and say, you auction me because I swears lipa. Okay? Then there are punitive things that they have refused to talk about. The other day, if you look at the finance bill of 2024, they are talking about introducing excise duty of 15% on social media and internet services. Do you know what that will happen? Because the cost of bundles that you are supposed to get for free, pandos, you remember?
Yeah.
Kima pandos,
Yeah.
utakuja pure pandos.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yes.
My friend William saying?
Yeah.
Now it is not even free. The cost is going to go up because of taxes. Obviously, the operational cost of those companies is also going to go up. Now, from free pantos to pain that the Kenyans are going to go through. Then, of course, they're talking about the dollar coming down. From it was at about 160 something, now it's at about 129. If indeed that's a true reflection of how our shilling is performing against the dollar, how come there's no correlation between that value with the prices of food commodities? Okay? The prices of fuel, which is actually bought in dollars. How come we've not seen a significant drop in the commodity prices for food and oil? Gas is still 13 kilo gas is, I think, retailing at 3,500 or thereabout. Forget about the 500 bob that President William Ruto promised. Okay?
Yeah.
Then, if indeed the economy is doing well, as they want us to believe, how come, Jed, the counties, our counties, all suppliers, okay, all suppliers, Kenyans who have supplied, some of them are dying because banks are auctioning them. Counties owe 900 billion, heading to 1 trillion shillings that they owe Kenyans. Counties are neighbor, of course, other than corruption, we know these fellows are stealing public funds. They're thieves, stealing public funds, most of them. Maybe 1 or 2 are clean. But most of them are stealing. How come if the economy is doing, if the government is indeed performing, how come they have failed to transfer money to counties? How come, Jed, these fellows, useless, bure kabisa, they cannot transfer money to counties as per the constitution? And then they want us to believe that the economy is doing well, that the government is performing. I am happy that indeed Manyora is talking. Finally, Jed, on that one, if indeed the economy is doing well, like they want us to believe, because I want to believe William Ruto and his government, but how come people don't have disposable income? Yes, how come? You know, when the companies are shutting down, you have Copia shutting down the other day. We had a G4S, downscaling. We had just the other day Tires and Carpet downscaling. We had Delarue that shutting down. How come, if the economy is indeed thriving and is booming, and we are doing well, companies will be employing more people because they're doing well, because they need manpower. But when they start scaling down, when they start shutting down, it is a very bad sign. It means that economy is not doing well, that economy is about to crash. Those are signs, Jed. You have no money in the pocket, companies are closing down. It's a sign. It's a sign that you're about to crash, Jed. This economy is not doing well.
Of this statement by CBK, CBK is aware that malicious actors may attempt to circulate erroneous information on online and other channels about the banking system. The banking sector in Kenya remains stable and resilient and is adequately capitalized. All customers should continue transacting as normal.
Stop there. Stop. Stop, Jed. Stop. You are hurting Kenyans.
I haven't finished.
When you read that statement, you're hurting Kenyans.
I haven't even asked the question.
Jed, you're hurting Kenyans.
Maybe answer me. Where is the government failing when it comes to information about what is happening? Because CBK had to come out and say Kenyans are relying on social media platforms. There's this conversation about banks limiting withdrawals. Banks
you see, there is also
withdrawals.
propaganda. You must accept, Jed. But you see, even if you churn out propaganda and people know the truth, they will ignore. Because they have money in their pockets. Okay, Jed? Yeah. If they have money, Besha. Guy. Do you think these guys, they will bother with propaganda?
Guy.
There is room for propaganda because guys have no cash in their pocket. Okay? When you are borrowing at 28%, it doesn't matter. They can issue more circulars. But so long as Kenyans, small and medium-sized enterprise, are borrowing at 28%. You issue statements day and night. Propaganda will thrive because we shall believe in propaganda. But I can tell you, how do you kill propaganda? Make sure things work. Make sure people have money in their pocket. Right now, if President Ruto had done what he promised to do, to bring fuel down to 100, even me one, I'll have nothing to say, man. I'll have nothing to say.
Yeah.
If he had promised to do bring down Unga to 70 bob, like it is not me who promised, it's President Ruto promised. If he had brought down Unga to 70 bob, will we be here talking? In fact, he will not even need those Moras in State House. He sacked them because they have no work. Because people become, people will become spokesmen and spokeswomen. Kenyans, 57 million Kenyans will become your spokesmen and women. You don't need the Moras and the State House to talk. What are they talking about?
Let's finish with that. Communication from government. You've talked about Duale, you've talked about Ndi, you've talked about Isaac Mora. I think you didn't mention Duale, but he comes and says, garbage is not being, garbage is brought by the middle class. The poor don't even have garbage. Ndi, you've talked about him. Isaac Mora, Unga is already at 80 shillings. Communication from government, Kisia. How do we deal with it? Have they failed completely, 100% when it comes to information?
You mentioned the Duale. Duale is a family friend, so I'm conflicted.
But Isaac is also a friend.
But now, since you have smoked him, you smoked him out.
Yeah.
Since you have smoked him out, I thought...
You had ignored him.
Yeah, I ignored.
We'll go on a lenga.
But let me tell you, I already sent a message to Duale. Yeah. And I think maybe, and I know he doesn't take what I take. Because I said, no, maybe PK had unjudged something. He must have tasted something. That's why he spoke the way he spoke. I know he doesn't. And I've cautioned him. I've told him, for heaven's sake, what you speak right now, people are so sensitive.
Yeah.
Kenyans are so sensitive. They pick very quickly. And you see this picked the statement. Maybe he didn't mean what he said, but the interpretation that was given, that he was suggesting that the people, the low class and the poor in this country eat everything, including garbage. They eat everything. Wanararua kila kitu. Everything. Yeah? And it is only them in cabinet and the top government and Ruto and the family who have things to waste. They leave food on the plate and almwaga. They're the ones who, in fact, then he was referring to themselves. But that statement was most unfortunate statement coming out somebody like Duale, who is very well grounded, very well experienced. But I think he's rubbing shoulders with the wrong people. It's wrong people. And that's why he's become a bit careless. But being a friend, I've sent him a warning and I've told him, bro, stop this nonsense.
So how should government...
Stop the nonsense.
What do you expect from government when it comes to communication? This conversation also about the
You see,
the Catholics.
now listen.
Everyone is saying, look, different statements from every side of the coin.
Yeah, Jed, what do you expect? It's a confused government. You expect them to communicate what? Number one, they have nothing to communicate. What do they have to communicate? When you're struggling to communicate, it means you have nothing. Okay? You have nothing to communicate. Because when you have something to communicate, you don't need 1,000 people to communicate the same thing. You need one person. During Kibaki's time, we had, I think, one person who would receive information and relate to the public.
Alfred Mutuo?
Okay, he tried, but I'm saying before then, we are most serious people. I'm not saying it's not Alfred, but you see, what I'm saying is that information needs to be centrally disseminated. You don't have this guy coming, issuing a statement, another character in the corner there after eating mandazi and whatever in State House, coming and issue a statement, another, he has been drinking whiskey somewhere, and he wakes up and he issues a statement. They're so disjointed. But what the problem, okay, number one, is the characters they have to do the job. They are not experienced. They have nothing. No experience. Okay? They were just handpicked. But number two, and most important, they have nothing good to communicate. That is why they're struggling to communicate. They are struggling. And they'll keep on struggling because the whole system, Jed, is completely failed. The whole system. Monumental failure. We have never seen such failure from the time I was born. and I was born in 1963. I have never seen this failure. Even when I was in my mother's tummy, I have never seen this failure.
That's why
this
you
one
say,
is shocking.
Guy,
This one is shocking. It's shocking.
thanks for tuning
Jade
into
is
that
shocking.
conversation. What do you think about the current state of William Ruto's government? Leave a comment down below. But just before we wrap up, it's 90 minutes with Kisia. Are we there yet? Are we at 90? Kisia, final word.
Jade, I asked for 90 minutes because I said don't do this exercise thing. 90 minutes.
Okay.
Jed, let me close by saying, and I'm addressing my friend President William Ruto, my friend, my president, you have monumentally failed. You have been a total embarrassment to my generation, to your folks, to your tribe, to the society, to Kenya, to Africa. People had hope in you. They gave you a chance as a son of a peasant to provide leadership. But instead of providing sound leadership, you have failed the economy, you have ruined democracy, you have encouraged corruption. Then you have, in fact, you are now principal assistant trying to confuse us with semantics, the issue of public interest. Now, I want to tell my friend Kindiki, and I'm giving it a definition which I think suits them. Public interest is a matter that is being pushed by people who are honest and genuine for the majority of our people and for future generation. That is public interest. Now, on the other side, and I'm giving that definition, national interest is the interest of a few individuals in the Kenya Kwanza government who are pushing corrupt deals for short-term gains. So, if you were to look at the interest, the two, we as Kenyans are asking this government to forget about national interest. I'm not saying it's not important, but anything that touches on public interest comes before national interest. Because if you don't have the people, you have no nation. Now, finally, I want to close by saying insecure leaders surround themselves with mediocrity, people who don't have intellect, people who have failed in management, people who are yes men and women, while people who are sound, confident of themselves, surround themselves with effective workers and people who can assist them in delivering the country's vision. So President Ruto, you have less than 3 years to go. Make a choice.
Make a choice, yes indeed. If you don't have people, you don't have a nation. Thanks for tuning into that conversation. Leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think about this particular program. If you'd like to sponsor us, you can reach us through the numbers on the screen. The number on the screen, you will reach to us directly so that you can become part of this program more directly. Share this video with as many people as possible because we want this video to help our leaders making better policy decisions and better political moves. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house, this is not for going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip.
Welcome to Herencia, the heartland of good living, where you belong. A community with endless possibilities. Your path to discovering a master-planned gated community that matches your ambitions. Get yourself this must-have piece of paradise with state-of-the-art amenities, constant water supply, good security, tarmac roads, and much more. The best part, availability of buy and build financing services. Don't wait. Contact us today or visit our offices for more info. Buy and build your way at Herencia, the heartland of good living.